Good morning, all. Can you hear me? I'm looking at a lot of little tiny faces on little postage stamp screens. I'm seeing Christina waving here. So yeah, I'm going to take that as that you all can hear me. Uh, Appreciate everybody taking time to be with us here today. A lot of things going on, a lot of good news to share with all of you. So let me go ahead and get started here. Talk first about the big news from the governor earlier this week. On Tuesday, the governor announced that he was relaxing, the state was relaxing the COVID restrictions in a lot of public facilities, including our senior centers. That is very, very good news for us. That's something that we have been advocating for quite a while, and we are really pleased to see this change. Let me just tell you for your own information that basically what the governor has done is reduced the social distancing requirements for indoor activities in public facilities from 6 feet, which is what it has been since the start of the pandemic, down to 3 feet. What that means to us in all of the cheer centers is almost a tripling of the amount of people that can come into our facilities right now. As probably all of you should be aware, we have had to limit the number of people coming into our cheer centers to stay within that 6 foot social distancing requirement. When that was reduced, or now that the governor has announced that that is being reduced, that is going to allow us to have a lot more people into our centers. So people that have been wanting to come back, have not been able to, will have that opportunity. Now, that new change does not take effect until the 21st of this month, but we are already working and planning for how we can continue to safely have more and more of you into our centers. And that also gives us an opportunity to provide or to bring back some of the group activities that we have not been able to do so far during this pandemic period. So good news, and we ask you all stay tuned and tell your friends that the cheer is opening back up, and certainly by the 1st of June, we will be having greater numbers and welcoming greater numbers of people into our cheer activity center. So we're very pleased about that. Uh, we will continue to maintain the requirements for masks whenever you are up moving around, or basically when you are in the center but not involved in eating or drinking. Then we're going to need you to continue the mask wearing of the masks. But it is going to give us an opportunity to bring a lot more people in, as I said, and we will be maintaining our sanitizing practices to make sure that we continue to provide the safest possible environment for everybody that is coming to a cheer center. Uh, in addition to that, we are going to continue our virtual programming opportunities, and I'm very pleased to hear that more and more people each and every month are tuning in, so to speak, to cheer, to be involved with some of the entertainment and educational programs that we're offering through our virtual programming right now. Specifically, I know that Mr. Goodwood was with us a couple of weeks ago, and I think he was a very big. I've heard that he's was a very big hit with a number of you, and we're really glad. He's been very popular in our centers before the pandemic, and we're certainly glad to be able to bring him back for everyone. We've also started a new program called Ask the Nutritionist, where we're able to provide nutrition advice and respond to questions online that people may have with regards to nutritional health, and even our meal programming here at Cheer. And I'm told, and the numbers bear this out, that that was also a very popular offering here in this past month. So we're going to continue looking for those opportunities. And even though we are very glad to have people back in our centers in person. We're going to also continue to offer those online opportunities going forward so that you just have more choices and more offerings from Cheer. Also, as the weather is improving here, we're bringing back a lot of our outside parking lot events. Some have already taken place in a couple of your centers here, but we're planning and programming for more and more of those going through the summer season to provide additional kind of entertainment opportunities for each of you at our Cheer locations. I've talked in each and every Ken's Corner for going back for the last 2+ years about our Cooking for Sussex Seniors capital campaign and the kitchen that we were looking to fund the construction of, so that we would have a new enlarged central kitchen that would be better able to support the meal needs of all of our congregate programs in our centers, and also for our homebound Meals on Wheels program. I'm very pleased to be able to report that that kitchen is nearing completion. And in fact, we now have a date when the first meals will be coming out of that new kitchen. That date is June 21st. So actually the building is constructed right now. They're still doing some utility work and some site work that needs to be done there in terms of a loading dock and some other construction. But actually next week, they're going to start installing equipment, the kitchen equipment in that new kitchen. And all of that work will continue on to be completed by the middle of June. And June 21st is the date that you should be enjoying your first meal out of the new Cheer Central Kitchen. It was a $1.8 million undertaking. And we are very pleased and proud that the community, state, federal government, and county government have all supported these efforts so that we could fund and construct that kitchen, along with just countless numbers of important individual donors who contributed. Many of you may remember that a couple of years ago, as much as 2 years ago, there were 5-gallon water jugs in many centers where we asked people to contribute change, pocket change, and to help support the construction of this kitchen. I want to tell you that there have just been hundreds of people that have donated. Is just a few pennies out of pocket change, and in some cases have written significant checks. Every bit of that has helped to make this $1.8 million kitchen project a reality. And it's coming to the home stretches right now. So look forward to the June 21st meal, because that will be the first meal out of this brand new kitchen. We have brought back something we didn't do last year, but we've done for each year annually as part of our effort to promote and advocate for services for senior citizens. We conduct a State of Sussex Seniors legislative information and advocacy breakfast. And we did that this year again earlier, or actually late last month. First time we have brought that back. Last year, we were unable to do that because of the pandemic, but we had a chance to talk with our state legislators about issues and concerns that affect senior citizens throughout Sussex County. We talked about the need to have expanded funding as services were coming back online and as we're providing more and more services to each of you throughout all of Sussex County, both in our senior centers, but also in our adult daycare program and in our in-home programs, whether that's Meals on Wheels or whether that's our personal assistance services in homes. All of these programs are continuing to grow as we come out of the pandemic. So we have been advocating for some of that additional funding. And if you watch any of the national news programs, you know that there is more and more federal funding that is coming down, that is already in the pipeline coming to states. And there is a good portion of that that has been targeted specifically for services for the senior population. And we want to be sure that that money finds its way into direct services that benefits in a hands-on, real tangible way each and every one of you. So we talked an awful lot about that as we're talking with our legislators. We also have concerns that there is a proposal at the state level to consider the possibility of transitioning some of the nutrition outreach services, the outreach worker services, from organizations like Cheer and other nonprofits that have been providing that service for many years, providing that counseling and screening service to help seniors with nutritional needs. There's a proposal that should be maybe transitioned back into state, and that state caseworkers, social workers will be performing that service directly. We have a lot of concern for that for a lot of reasons, because as we've seen that happen in another program just a few years ago, basically that's just adding another layer or level of bureaucracy, because when people contact the state and need services, then the state in turn has to turn around and come back to organizations like Cheer and other community nonprofit service providers to provide that service. We prefer the current method where we reach out directly and interface with people that need services, and then we program and line those services up as the provider. So we are expressing our concerns in opposition to that recommendation, and hopefully we are hopeful that that will not go forward, because we think it just adds a layer of bureaucracy, an additional level for people to need to go through that need services between the point where they request those services and the point that they can actually begin receiving services like Cheers providing throughout Sussex County each and every day. The other thing that wanted to speak about here is the vaccine program. Senior citizens have consistently had higher percentages of that population, senior citizen population, that is getting vaccinated over and above the numbers we're seeing in the general public. And I thank all of you for that. But I can also tell you that just in the governor's briefing this week, the senior citizen population in Sussex County even is a higher percentage of vaccinated than the senior citizen populations in either Kent or Newcastle County. So I want to thank all of you that have gone and gotten vaccinated. I want to encourage those who maybe have not, who are still considering it, to go ahead and make plans for vaccinations. There is an abundant supply available for vaccinations. Now they are relatively easily obtainable. If you are interested in being vaccinated and have not done so, there are lots and lots of opportunities out there, much more so. And the process is much simpler than it was months earlier. If transportation or any is an issue or concern getting there, please let your center directors know. We'll try and work something out to be able to make it available that you can get to a vaccination site if you want to do that. With that, I think we have probably covered the things that I had on my list here. And so I've spoken a little bit. It's now what I think is the most important part of Ken's Corner, and that is time for you to talk about and let us know what questions, concerns you may have, what things we as Cheer can do to be more responsive to what you want out of your local Cheer centers, what we can do to serve you better. So with that, I'm going to let Kevin, who's our technology wizard here, open the microphone, working with your center directors. Any questions, comments, or information you would like, we're here to listen. And if you are interested, just have your center directors unmute your screen, and then I'll be able to hear you, and as will the other centers, and we'll be able to go ahead and try and hear your concerns, questions, and respond to any issues that you have.
Al, I'm gonna bring you a microphone. Are we good to go?
I can hear you, Yolanda.
Okay, this is Al. Here you go, Al.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, one of my concerns is, I know earlier you were talking about these social distances inside the center from going from six.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak up just a little bit? They're gonna turn the microphone, they're turning the speakers up here on this end.
Okay. Concerning the issue you brought earlier concerning the social distances inside the center going from 6 to 3. What about the transportation as far as the bus is concerned?
Okay, that's a really good question. The question, just for everybody's information, is as the state has reduced the social distancing requirements from 6 feet to 3 feet, what does that mean in terms of capacity on our buses and the number of people that can ride on our buses? We have actually asked that very question to the state earlier this week, right after the governor made his announcement. The state has said they are researching that right now, and they will provide clarification. Right now, we are limited to 4 people, a maximum of 4 passengers on our buses coming in order for us to be compliant with the guidelines that were in place before the governor's announcement. We are hoping that we're going to be able to increase the number of people, and we expect to be able to increase the number of people on our bus, but we still haven't gotten the final guidance from the state. But we have asked the question. I will tell you that the federal government yesterday came out and said that they're going to be maintaining the mask requirements on all public transportation through September of this year. And likewise, we will continue to maintain that masking requirement on the buses. But we hope to be able to have more people on our buses by the 1st of June. As I said, the guidelines that the governor has put in place now take effect on the 21st of this month. But we're hoping by the June 1st that we're going to be having more people on our buses.
Okay. And one more question. I enjoy coming down here to the center in Ocean View. What are they doing about the center in Roxanne?
Okay, I will tell you this, on the Roxana Center, the reason that we have not opened the Roxana Center to date is because, well, it's twofold. One is because of the space requirements, and we just were not able to have enough people in there maintaining the social distancing requirements. And the other is the restrooms. And if you're familiar with the Roxana Center, and I assume that you are, there have always been very, very limited restroom capabilities in that building. And that is still a concern for us, how to maintain those restrooms, those 2 small restrooms in a safe and sanitary way. So we're continuing to look at that, but I will tell you this, we are also looking to see if there might be alternative sites available for us in the Roxana area that might give us more room. Now, that's not a short-term solution. That is something that will be in the offing, but whether there may be existing facilities that could be available to us in the Roxana area that would allow us more room than we have right now, or whether we could even look at the potential longer term of constructing a new facility in the Roxana area. But within the existing building there in Roxana, we cannot expand that building. And we've talked with the excuse me, we've talked with the trustees of the Pyle Center about the ability to expand that building several times, probably going back as much as almost 10 years. The problem is that there is just not the sewer capacity, septic capacity in the case of that site to be able to make that building any bigger, because all of the programs that are in there are looking for expansion, and it just cannot be expanded because there's not the septic capacity to do that. And that probably is not going to be changing in the near term future. So we're looking for alternative sites right now. Whether or not we reopen and go back into Roxanne at all is we'll see. There's uncertainty about that. But one of the other things that we're doing to help out with some of the space considerations at Roxana is we are looking to transition the packaging and preparation of the home delivered meals from the Roxana site back up here to Georgetown with the opening of the new kitchen and some of the reconfigurations that are happening here in our Georgetown building. We think we would have more space to be able to do some of that up here in Georgetown. And then we have purchased a new truck, a food delivery truck that has better capabilities, or will have better capabilities for maintaining temperatures of food so that we could transport that food already packaged down to the Roxana site. If we do that and are able to do that here in Georgetown, then it also would not take up as much space in Roxana as it currently does. And again, if you've been in Roxana prior to the pandemic, you know that in the mornings, almost half of that room is tied up with bags of food, and that's being prepared to be delivered to the homebound meal program. So we're going to try and free up some space that way. We're looking at a couple of options for things that we can do, but I think longer term, the solution is that we're going to have to find a new home in Roxana.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else? I know we're doing good, but we can't be that perfect.
Here comes Marcia, so hang on.
I'm sorry.
Hi, I just wanted to say how pleased I was with lunch yesterday, and hope that is served again and put on the menu again. That the menu had for Cinco de Mayo. That was a good lunch.
I'm sorry. I about the only part of that I got was pleased with the lunch yesterday, which I'm glad to hear, but I did not catch the rest of what you were saying.
Okay, I enjoyed the lunch that was served yesterday
Okay.
and hope that it goes on the menu some more.
Okay. So we want to put yesterday's lunch on the menu. Additionally, you see that come up more frequently. Well, you know what? That's something we can control. So let me speak with the nutrition program director and see if we can do that, because that's something we should be able to accommodate for you. But thank you for the compliment.
All right, and my next thing is, the April menu, our lunch menu, came online in advance, way in advance, and I was pleasantly surprised. But May's menu was not there on May 1st online. So hopefully we can get that up and running a little bit closer to the time.
You know, I noticed that very same thing, because I was sitting at my desk earlier this week and I said, what are we serving for lunch today? And I just always click online to see what the menu is, and it was not the right menu. So I am told that's been corrected. I did not check today, but I am told that has now been corrected. So if somebody wants to jump online real quick and see if May's menu is on there, it should be, because I'm told that was corrected 2 days ago.
Yes, well, it's been on, I've seen it since then. It wasn't on for the first day of May, or the first May when we had lunch here. And my next question is, how about the gyms that are in the buildings? Are they opening up?
I'm sorry, in the speakers.
Okay, the gyms in the building, are they opening up?
The
Which-
fitness room,
Which building?
The fitness room?
Fitness, oh, the gym, okay, fitness centers. I'm sorry, one of the things I think we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to work on some better speakers. Cause I've got that, got you, but it does not sound, the sound is very bad on this end, and I apologize for that. But let me tell you, the fitness centers. There's been a lot of requests to open up the fitness centers, and we are putting together guidelines right now that will allow us to do that. Now, there will be limitations. It won't be as it was in the past, but we are going to be requiring that there will be, and I know that Yolanda has said in the past, there's volunteers down there in Ocean View that are interested in doing this, but we'll need to have a volunteer that sort of is the overseer of the fitness center in each of our senior centers. And that person will need to almost be a timekeeper so that what we're planning, and we will put out guidelines to this effect, you will have to schedule in advance to use the fitness centers. Right now, and depending on which location, there'll be a limited number of people, but it'll probably be 2 to 3 people that are allowed in at each time. You'll schedule a 1-hour block, which will, and we will allow you to be in there for 45 minutes to exercise. Then there's 15-minute period between the next 1-hour block. And in that 15-minute period, we will be sanitizing, wiping down all the equipment and sanitizing the room for the next group of individuals that want to come in for the next 1-hour block, which will provide 45 minutes of exercise time. We're finalizing those guidelines right now, and I would expect those to be in place June 1st.
Thank you.
Okay, Long Neck has a couple of questions.
Long Neck, all right, see, now that's clear. I don't know whether it was microphones or what, but that's clear.
Hi, Ken. It's me.
Hi.
I want to thank you for all the good work you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I know that you're just looking forward to having me come down there again so you give me a hard time about something, but we are where we are right now.
Thank you.
Does
Thank
anybody?
you.
We have one question, yes.
Okay, one question, go ahead.
Activities again. Working.
When are we gonna, she wanted to know when we're gonna go back to full-time activities again.
When we're gonna go back to full-time activities, we have opened the hours up, expanded our hours so that now we're open earlier and later in the afternoon. So that's back to what we were our normal hours. But in terms of activities, I think June 1, you are going to see a resumption of many of the previous activities because we're going to be able to have more people in the centers there. So we are planning to try and reopen to as close to what I'll call what was normal on June 1. So we're less than a month away from that. And a big part of that is being able to bring more people into the centers, have people closer together. But I know one of the things that we've heard from a lot of people is when can we resume things like card games and those kind of activities. And that's going to be part of the new guidelines that we want to have in place June 1st, so that we'll still be wearing masks, but we'll have hand sanitizer probably on each individual table. We'll be promoting people using the hand sanitizer. But I think within or by June 1st, which is less than a month from now, you're going to see a lot more of kind of the normal activities that you were used to seeing in your cheer centers.
Okay, we have one more question.
Okay?
Ken, in the dining room, will we still have to serve all the folks? Or will they be able to go down the line and pick up their own lunch?
You know, we are still looking at that. At the moment, I think our plan initially is to continue the serving activity. But it's sort of a transitional process. We want to see again how quickly our numbers are increasing in the centers and make sure that we're able to continue to provide the sanitizing and make that safe as possible environment. So at the moment, At the moment, we're still planning to continue the serving, but hopefully we'll be able to transition from that as we get further into the summer.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Nope. Long neck's good.
Long Neck's good. Ocean View is good. Long Neck's good. Everybody else is good. Greenwood,
Greenwood is good, and we can't wait to get back to normal.
yeah, well, we're looking forward to something that looks like normal also. So we'll be looking forward, like I said, to being able to have a lot more people come back in and begin resuming some of the kind of things, activities that you have come to expect from your cheer center. So we are very much looking forward to that also.
Thank you, Ken. The card players are very excited.
The card players are very excited. I'm going to say one thing for the card players. Please, when you sit down to play cards, and this will be in the guidelines that we have, excuse me, please, the hand sanitizer will be on the table. Sanitize your hands before you start and when you get up afterwards, because we'll be passing cards around the table and everything, and we just want to do everything we can to keep everybody safe. But we're glad that we're starting again.
Thank you, Ken.
Life must be good in Milton and Georgetown.
Georgetown are happy about the cards.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Everybody's happy about the cards. We are glad to have that come back too. But again, I just ask everybody, please be diligent about wearing your masks. And please be sure when you sit down to play cards, before you start, sanitize your hands. We'll put the sanitizer right there on the table. And when you're done playing, again, just wipe your hands with the sanitizer for everybody's protection. All is good. And everybody's happy with the menus. We particularly like yesterday's menu.
All's good with the menu.
No comments, changes, other than we need to make sure that each month we're getting that menu posted online ahead of time. And we will do that. Remember, I don't know what the June 21st menu is, but that will be the first meal out of the new kitchen. So we're going to try and make something special out of it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Good.
All right. Well, I think if there is nothing else, then I'm going to leave you to your lunches and look forward to having even more of you in each of our centers this time next month. And again, also, as soon as we know about what the state's guidelines are for transportation, we will be sure to pass that on to all of the center directors and our transportation people so that we can get even more and more people in. Okay, thank you all and have a very great rest of the day.